was I nervous. I'd been phoned about decking a man's backyard, a usual sort of job for me, but it wasn't the porch I'd been nervous about, it was the man. Herbert Bollocks, a local publisher. To be in a situation so close to someone who might understand my stories on an intellectual level is a daunting thing. But also, I understood the look of my situation, and it didn't come out of thin air. It was actually the sweet work of my lovely dad, Faciolis. He told me he'd set this up when we were having tea together last week.
Oh, finally, you've buggered this up. You've overfried me egg, you simple and pissy wazzock. The yolk barely bleeds over the ham. How am I going to dip me chippy into it? It's like trying to dip a vet's finger into a pot of soda creme. And you call these mushy peas? I've done greener shits than this beige muck. And how the fuck you've managed to undertoast this bread is a scientific fucking marvel. You might as well have popped fresh wheat on the plate, you measly and unappealing fucking drip.
Well, if you don't want it, Dad, I'll have it.
Don't you go and try and steal an old man's dinner now, you fucking obscure and balmy tit. You're fat enough.
OK, well, pass the HP.
Oh, son, that reminds me. I've set you up a job, by the way.
Really? What is it? Why didn't you tell me? Your neighbour need a new hat rack built?
No, it's some fella I met who was next to me in the queue of Superdrug earlier. I was returning the beard oil that one of my old colleagues bought me for Christmas. Can't believe that pretentious prat thought I'd actually want that wanky nonsense. My beard's luscious enough with the amount of margarine I comb through it every fucking morning. Anyway, this bloke was buying a verruca removal pen for his wife's back. We got chatting because the child slaves on the tills were taking their sweet fucking time serving the fuckers in front of us. He mentioned needing his decking done up, and I suggested you. So be fucking grateful and don't fuck it up. Me and him might end up doing a heritage tram tour down in Blackpool, and I don't need my puny son cocking that up. This bloke got me all excited about wheel lathes and welding bays. So you deck it out like you were fucking born to do it.
That's really nice of you.
Of course it is, and don't worry, I didn't mention how much of a poxy little wanker you are. But yeah, expect a phone call from a Herbert Bollocks.
What? Herbert Bollocks, the publisher?
Oh my fucking word. I'm trying to watch Grand Designs and eat this cowpat you call dinner. Are you going to keep squeaking on? The sound quality on this telly is so shite. Can't wait for the new model to arrive in a few days. Big fucker it's going to be. Mega sound. Oh, and can you print off the setup instructions in a larger font? You know what me eyes are like, done far too much seeing, and not enough seeing spent on beautiful panoramic views, too much of it being on your shrivelling toad face.
And sure enough, a day went by and I got the call. Hello, finally Abrams, handyman extraordinaire, to whom am I speaking?
This is Herbert Bollocks. I believe your father, Faciolis Beanscreen Abrams, gave me your contact and said you're the man to call for new decking.
Oh, that's it, I'm your man. Could you tell me a bit about your decking needs?
Yeah, it's a 10-foot by 15-foot area in me backyard that needs seeing to. It's rotten to fucking mossy. Looks like me father-in-law's decaying bunghole. I'm happy to let you take some creative control over the wood you use, be it a pine wood, acacia, or some other composite anti-slip decking planks. I'll text you the rest of the details when I get home, but if you're up for it, that'd be swell.
And I was up for it. He gave me more details and I gave him a quote, and before long I was on my way to B&Q to grab supplies. I'd been fretting about how I may slip into conversation my writings. Herbert had published some of the greatest novels from the local area, and I didn't want to come across like an arse-kissing wimp. I pulled into the car park and saw Geraldine, wondering if she might have some half-decent ideas about schmoozing Herbert. Predictably, she was out the back smoking a cigarette with all the affable sophistication of a Swiss heiress. She was wearing these skin-tight, stretchy, light-washed jeans, most likely from Henny's, that really accentuated her unique figure and breathtaking legs. Thighs like haggis, knees like Scotch pies, and calves like giblets. She was also wearing an open-toe high heel, showing off her goujon-like feet and further plumping her sandbag bottom. Her stunning form burnt into my brain like an ox's branding. "Good morning, Geraldine. My, don't you look fashionable today?"
Oh, how do, finally. Why, thank you. I do feel rather trendy today, like sort of Joanna Lumley figure.
Special occasion, is it? Grand opening of a new sandpaper section or something?
Oh, yeah, straight after work I'm going on a date with an old secondary school fling.
Oh, okay, right, an old fling. Oh, that could be all right, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, well, it's not very meaningful, don't worry. We're going to a school reunion, and he asked if I wanted to go with him.
Oh, were you like a proper serious item at school then?
No, not like that. He fingered me in the disabled toilet a few times in year 8 until we got caught and he was expelled.
Oh man, that must have felt a bit sore to be caught in the throes of passion like that.
Well, we should have seen it coming. There was a wheelchair kid in the toilet at the time and we didn't notice. He hadn't locked the door, and we were too busy exchanging fluids to really take stock of the fact he was sat on the shitter. We only realised he was there when we heard the big splash of a small solid turd hit the toilet water. Oh, he pulled on the red cord and the maths teacher showed up. I was bright red with embarrassment. Fucking rigged in there as well. I was just too busy riding this boy's little fingers to care about the stench of fresh shite. What are you up to anyway?
Here to grab some supplies, as I'm doing the guy's decking. Turns out he's actually a local publisher, and I sort of wondered if maybe you had some suggestions for how I might be able to promote some of my work to him without looking like a little pillock.
Oh, sweetness, that's a fucking toughie. Reminds me of how I got this job. The manager came into a shit cafe I used to work in. My colleague enlightened me to who he was and the power he had, and I realised I had the chance to join a quite revered workforce if I found a way to display my skill set.
Gosh, I'd be a nervous wreck if I was serving him. What'd you do?
I popped into the backyard to grab a wheelbarrow. I used it as a wheeled tray to deliver the bubble and squeak fried bread and bright white milky tea to his table. I noticed how high his eyebrow had raised and knew he was impressed. When I took his payment, he said he'd never seen such elegant wheelbarrow manoeuvres in his life, and that if I wanted a chance at a brighter future and an opportunity to shine, then I should give the store a ring the following morning. Lo and behold, the next evening I was wearing this orange apron and arranging rolls of heavy-duty polythene plastic sheeting like a proper fucking queen.
That is inspiring. But I don't know that wheelbarrow chops will make him privy to my creative writing.
Well, I got the job before this at the shit cafe I mentioned by showing off some of my cleavage and rubbing me muff up against the manager's shoulder while he was sat down. But I don't know that that will work for you either. You need to demonstrate your creative mind. Maybe sneak a print out of one of your chapters and accidentally drop it or leave it in his bread bin or something.
Now that's a shout, actually. Maybe I'll use big words to introduce the idea I might be a bit of a wordsmith and creative, and then hide a copy of a chapter like you said, and just hope he thinks I dropped it by mistake.
Oh, you smart little fuck. I think you'll do just fine, mate.
Well, thank you for that, and look, good luck at the reunion. I would love to meet some of your old cohort and learn more about you. You hoping your old flame's gonna take you to the disableds again?
Oh, if only. I bumped into him in Tesco Express and he showed me that both of his hands had been completely smashed up and amputated after 2 completely separate zoo-related accidents. So no fingering for little old Geraldine tonight.
Well, I best be on my way. Enjoy your ciggy and I'll catch up with you very soon.
Oh, you know I fucking will, you little fucking charmer. These things are fucking delicious. See ya.
After Geraldine's much-needed and confidence-boosting pep talk, I had quite the eureka moment while deciding what wood to use. I'll just tell you how Herbert reacted to my pretty bold move.
Wow, I would never have thought to do that finally. You must have a really wonderful creative brain.
Oh, well, that's kind of you to say, Mr. Bollocks.
Please, call me Herbert Bollocks. And yeah, what a stroke of ingenuity.
Yeah, well, if you give me some creative license for something, I'll run with it. You said for me to take control of what type of deck wood to use, and I thought that's an opportunity for you to have quite the backyard talking piece. Yeah, can't believe every plank is a different type of wood. You've essentially installed a wooden rainbow instead of decking. So many beautiful shades of browns, tans and beiges. I might fucking cry. Oh, that's very nice to hear. Yeah, you can see in order from left to right. It's natural pine, treated black pine, grey composite lumber, beige ipe, white timber, Madeira green cedar, brown acacia, rouge tiger wood, an oak that looks more mahogany. And would you care to guess that last one there? I'll hazard a guess. That appears to be some sort of durable umber brown teak composite plank. Correct. That's the whole lot. Oh, wow, that's a sweet surprise, Mr. Bollocks. You don't need to give me a cuddle. I want to. Now follow me inside. We're going to have a celebratory drink. Would you care for some buckfast, or are you more of an eggnog drinker? Oh, I mean, I'll just have whatever you're having. Wonderful. 2 champagne flutes of mead it is then. And Herbert and I whittled away a couple of hours sipping mead on his new multi-textured decking. Once enough time and conversation had passed, I found my opportunity to make my move. He was showing me the fine craftsmanship and stitching of the bowler hat he had been wearing. As he took it off, a strange gust of wind blew it out of his hand and to the back of the hedgerow, as if it was an act of God. Oh, Christ! What the bleeding H just happened there? My fucking bowler hat is over there now. How annoying, but also sort of silly. Don't worry, Herbert Bollocks. I'll go grab it. And as I stood up from my deck chair and went to move to the end of the garden, I let a folded piece of paper slip from my pocket. I just kept on walking, but I could hear Herbert noticed it, leaned forward and picked it up to inspect it. I grabbed the hat and made my slow return. He hadn't yet opened it. What is this, finally? It slipped from your pocket. Oh, you don't need to worry about that. I'll just take that back off you. Now, hang on a bloody moment, mate. What's this from? Oh, it was a scene from a short story of mine I was going to make some annotations on later. Interesting. You happen to have a printout of a scene from a book you've written that somehow fell out of your pocket here on the decking of a well-known and handsome publisher. Oh, you're a publisher, what? I had no idea. What a coincidence that is. Yeah. Well, you're welcome to hold on to that. Oh, I don't need to. I've got all I need already. Well, here's your hat back. Well, you're welcome to hold on to that. Oh, no. That's too nice of you, and it's yours. Fuck, I thought. I clearly offended him or made a fool of myself, or both. He just sat and stared at me for what felt like all of eternity. I thought he might kill me with a gun. The silence was broken when I could hear someone come into the house. Who's that? That'll be my wife, Fanny. She's been out drinking with one of my clients. Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. Look at this, Herb. What a fantastic decking.
Pretty clever, eh? All thanks to Finally Abrams here.
Nice to meet you, Finally.
I'm just pleased you like the decking, Mrs. Fanny Bollocks.
Oh, please, Herbert and I are a progressive couple. I didn't take his last name. I kept my maiden family name, Flaps.
Oh, do beg your pardon. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mrs. Fanny Flaps. How was your luncheon, dear?
Lovely. Hope you don't mind. I invited her back for a tea and maybe a large mug of Prosecco. She's just in the loo, freshening up or maybe having a shit.
That wouldn't be a problem. You won't mind finally, will you? Not at all. Grand. She's quite an established writer, this friend of ours, Finally. Have you heard of Carleen Shoerack? Oh, Carleen Shoerack's here.
Fanny, where are you?
We're out the back, love.
Ah, there you are. Trying to hide from me, were you? Cheeky, sneaky, chimpy monkey.
Oh, no, Carleen. I'd like to introduce you to our landscaper. Sorry, I forgot your name.
Hello, Carleen.
Ah, finally. What the devil are you doing here? You monkey.
I've done up the bollocks decking. You're actually standing on my hard work right now.
Ah, whoops. Lovely. Hope you never stand on my hard work. You meant to read it.
I thought about the fact that I've never stood on Carlene's books, but I have wiped my arse with a couple.
I'll just grab us ladies some drinks. What would you like, Carlene?
Strawberry yazoo!
I think there's some in the mini fridge. Won't be a more.
So how do you two know each other?
We took a creative storytelling night course together several years ago. Finally was always the most intelligent writer in the course. I was always very jealous of his short stories and poetry.
Interesting.
In fact, you should read some of Finally's work. It's really cracking emotional stuff.
That true?
Oh, yes! I've been telling all my book friends about Finally. All he needs is a lucky fucking break.
Thank you, Carlene, but I don't need any of your handouts.
Ah, well, finally, maybe I will take that printout you had after all, especially if Carlene here thinks it's pretty good.
And I gave it to him. That fucking Carlene might actually be the key to something, though I'll never admit that publicly. What a good afternoon it ended up being. The next morning, however, things took a turn. I went to my dad's to help him finish setting up his new telly. I walked into his house to find him poring over the setup instructions I'd printed in large font for him. All right, Dad, how's the setup going?
These fucking instructions don't make any bastard sense. I don't know what Samsung are fucking playing at. This is a load of gobbledygook.
What's the matter? Do you want me to print them out even bigger?
No, it's not that. It's just a load of foolish twaddle. Sir, you're a fucking prick. You might understand it. Have a look.
Let's see here. Oh, shit.
What is it, you fucking weasel?
No, this isn't the setup instructions. This is a chapter from my new novella. Shit.
Ah, that makes sense. I knew Samsung would never write something as fucking wanky as this.
I must have given Herbert the TV setup instructions by mistake.
Serves you fucking right, you tiny louse. Trying to power off your little fables on a client. You money-hungry little rat.
Oh, shit. He's never going to publish me.
Quit whining and help me finish setting this fucker up. I've got some bargain hunt to catch up on.
Well, I cried myself to sleep that night on my fold-out. But guess what? Next morning, Herbert phoned me, said he loved my work and it was unlike anything he's read before. He wanted to have a look at the full manuscript. That's when I was truly fucked. I don't know the first thing about writing TV setup manuals. I did some research, but honestly, I was fucked. I just sent him the full version of my actual novella, with the TV instructions slipped in there in the middle, which he'd read, but he said it was too crass, and then he blocked my number and unfriended me on LinkedIn. Ah, well, if critics don't understand my art, they just call it vulgar. That's why they're critics. They're not artists like me. Back to the drawing board, I suppose. Insult to injury of this whole palaver was bumping into Geraldine. Turns out the handless old flame still took her to the disabled toilet at the reunion, and she fingered him instead. I'm just too shrewd to make a move or tell her how jealous I am. Even for a writer, I'm lost for words around her. Ah well, fuck it. Before I go to sleep on my fold-out, here you go, diary. It's the chapter I meant to give Herbert. It's from a fantasy book about vampires and other such ghouls. Check it out, and good night. And as the vampire cornered his prey once more, he uttered in his spooky tone,
"Puny mortal, I will suck your neck again."
The prey, a beautiful fair maiden, rolled her eyes. That wasn't my neck. The vampire halted his leer.
Sorry, what? It's very dark in my castle.
Oh, I've never heard that one before, she sighed.
Well, if it wasn't your neck, what was it?
You didn't suck on my neck, you cad. You sucked on your own cock. The vampire thought on this.
Well, it is neck-like, and I will suck upon it again.
And he did. The maiden watched as the fearsome vampire sucked all of the life out of his own Transylvanian pecker. He span around and around, suspended in thin air, faster and faster as he sucked and sucked, deep-throating and gagging himself. Faster and faster and faster he span until all the woman could make out was a ball of sexual vampiric energy, like watching a bulled-up black cloak go round and round inside a powerful, high-end washing machine on a 1600 revolutions per minute cycle. Then she heard his gargling voice yell out,
"Help me! I'm gonna fucking come! Don't let me come! It'll be too powerful! Oh fuck, I'm gonna come and die!"
The maiden smiled and shielded herself away as the vampire count came so powerfully in his own mouth that he exploded like a spray of Gothic confetti and old man seed. The woman walked out of the quiet, empty castle, not afraid of the shadows any more. End of scene.